What's up, everybody? My name is Alex, and welcome to the Cauldron. Welcome to the Broth, the most fun, serious show on the internet. We're here live in the Cauldron. Today, we're gonna look at some more comedy. We're gonna check out some clips from Ian Carroll on Joe Rogan, which is exciting. Should be fun. Probably talk about Q a little bit because I got a clip of Ian talking to Rogan about Q. And he doesn't know what he's talking about. Can't know what you're talking about everything. But people love to talk about that like they know that they're talking about. And again, you find people who think they know what it is, and they at least know far less about it than me and my friends do. I've yet to meet a person who knows more about it than me or my friends and doesn't understand what it is and that it's happening. There's a tremendous amount of misconceptions, and yeah, I'm kind of feeling excited to talk about that. We haven't done it yet. So that I've alluded to it before, that there is a theory that a lot of people don't realize is very important to what's going on. So let's get into it. Let's see here. This one. All right, here we are. Awesome. Looks like we got somebody watching, which is great. All right, so MJ Truth Ultra, it's a good Q account. Check out their profile. There's a couple accounts. This isn't the top of my list of what you should follow to understand about what Q is, and I'll read this, but let's just check out the clip first. Let's see here.
They all read the same script.
Yeah,
They're so dumb.
but they use a different tone of voice. Yeah.
Well, they give their own
It's
spin on it
wild.
because they're performers.
It's wild.
I've got to have my own creative control.
By the way, a blessed Ash Wednesday to you all. You see, I've got the ashes. I did go to Mass today, and I'm on bread and water. I had a modified bread and water. As Catholics, we're required to fast on Ash Wednesday, Good Friday, and all the Fridays of Lent. And that has eventually morphed into, and there's nothing wrong with this. This is following the church's teachings, but it's turned into basically one small meal and one big meal and two small meals that don't add up to a meal, and that's considered fasting for that, and also no red meat. I am getting baptized this year on Easter, and I got to get closer to God. I got to prepare for this, so I'm taking a little old school. I'm doing a modified bread and water. I've never done bread and water fast before. I've done a lot of fasting, juice, water, dry fasting, just liquids, just fruit, all sorts of stuff. Never done bread and water, but that's the classic. And what I'm doing, my modification, I'm allowing myself coffee, and I'm allowing myself my electrolytes drink that I do. Got some herbal stuff in there. That works well for me. So I'm pretty sensitive to any changes. My body doesn't do that well in optimal conditions, thanks to what I believe is could have been damage from my early childhood vaccine schedule, but I can't prove it. So anyway, if you're celebrating Lent, God bless you. The Lord God asks us to do things, and including to sacrifice, to remember His far, far greater sacrifice. So
but then you get into the people that are like, the whole world's a stage, trust the plan, Q's in control, and it's like, whoa, dude, calm down.
Yeah, you've gone too far. Well, then when you see that documentary
there
on
are
Q, you
people that
realize
went
what
too
kind of
far.
people you're dealing with.
Which documentary?
Did you see
the
Into
one
the
that had the
Storm?
really cool
The
like
HBO
Q
one?
thing? Yeah, but I don't like trust a documentary like that either, because like HBO
Kudos.
is like that's the definition of mainstream media. So I try to stay somewhere in the middle of that. Of
That
like,
is true, but I think
right?
HBO let this guy uncover this story accurately. I think
I believe it.
I had him in.
Sure
I'm
they
pretty
did.
sure that I
Explained it.
saw. I'm pretty sure that I did see the documentary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a multi-part, and it shows all the people that were involved in it, and it kind of highlights a guy
Yeah.
who seems to be Q, who is like kind of an internet
Sure.
poster, fucking around, and
Yeah.
when 4chan was in its
We
heyday,
got some
back when all
kooks.
that shit was going down, like
We
it's
got some
right
kooks.
for
Joe
that kind
Joe
of
knows
Oh
everything.
yeah, perfect fertile.
I love Joe Rogan, but part of his charm used to be that he was just like a meathead that doesn't know anything, but he's smart enough to tell who is smart and interesting to get on his show. And now he's talked to so many smart and interesting people that he thinks that he knows stuff now, and I'm sure he knows a lot of stuff. I'm not saying I know more than him or anything, but there's a little loss of that charm. But yeah, I mean, he does think he's an expert on things he knows nothing about sometimes now.
Ground
Just a
for
little
that kind of
criticism.
like
Little friendly
controlled
criticism.
reverse opposition, whatever bullshit psyops. And that's where, for me, the bottom line is, can I corroborate it with primary sources? And Q is the definition of no. Of course I can't.
Right.
It's 'cause
It's like,
it's a
what is it? A
military
time
operation.
traveler that's coming back that's telling us how to save the world or something? Like, I don't understand.
Not in any of the Q posts. Okay, so I don't blame him for having this view, but like people only have so much time to dig, and one of the things that we need to do is practice discernment and what is worth our time, right? So how do I make my messages not be? There we go. Am I actually No, I wasn't doxing anybody. Okay. And so things that you use to decide if something's not worth your time is what he just said. Can you corroborate it with independent, like primary sources? And like he's in a sense he's right that you can't, but in a sense he's wrong because the source of the Q posts have been verified extensively. What does that mean? That means that we know that this is a person with access to Trump. That's been proven. The tippy top thing is that. We can look at that. Let me just take some notes because I want to really like nail this. So we'll look at tippy top. Tippy top is a proof beyond a reasonable doubt. One of many that whoever was the Q poster has access to Trump. So you want to tell me that some Anon shit poster is responsible for, 200 IQ, in-depth, semi-autistic psyop. Even if that's true, well, then he's that and has access to Trump and can ask Trump to say tippy top, which is a silly phrase for him to say twice, and he said it twice in a speech. So that's one thing. So you look for, can you corroborate with a primary source? People don't know that you can do that with Q, that the Q drops are meaningful. They're all by one person or one account, and they are someone who's connected to Donald Trump. And there's someone who knows a lot about a lot of things that have bore out. So including some of the sex trafficking stuff, a lot of the corruption stuff. So that's one thing. But another thing you look for is, does it seem ridiculous? And Q, so he mentioned the time travel thing. There's Q, they call it QAnon. There's Q in the Anons. Q is a person or few people who claim to have high Q-level security clearance and are involved in a military operation to save our country. The Anons are all of the people who are reading these posts and then are talking amongst themselves and talking to the world. Largely what they do is speculate on how to interpret these things, what's actually happening. Now, anytime you do that, you have people who are going to get into some pretty wild speculation. And as wild as the time travel speculation sounds, and I'm not a proponent of it, the reasons behind the speculation are interesting and strange. So we can revisit the time travel. I'm not a proponent of that. I'm not even really a fan of that being associated with the movement. But also, like, people get hung up on the movement. Like, a friend of mine was saying, like, oh, so you're part of this movement, and was saying things he doesn't like about the movement. I'm a person who's aware that there is a secret military operation because they told us, and I used my discernment to verify that, according to my best discernment, which has been proven to be quite good, that it is legitimate. And it doesn't even mean that everything in the drops are legitimate, because it says that they had to post some misinformation basically to they couldn't telegraph everything that they were going to do to the enemies of the operation, the targets of the operation. So yes, I can understand it seems a bit dodgy, and I also, like, my aim today is not necessarily to convince you that this is real, but to convince you that it's worth considering. I'm not sure I've not successfully convinced anybody that it's real, and I think the reason is the people that I know that understand this to be true, and, like, I'm in a group chat with 5 or 6 very intelligent, passionate, patriotic people who all understand this. We all watched it unfold in real time over it's been going on for almost 7 years. For me, it's been 5 when I became aware of it. And there's something about watching that unfold, particularly with friends where you can discuss different things, that's just more powerful than, like, what anyone could do to sort of try to bring someone up to speed. The things that you look for to see if something's worth investing your time in: primary sources we have, but it doesn't look like we have. Does it look ridiculous? It does, because of things like time travel, but also things like a very easy way to discredit something is you have operatives claim to represent the thing and say ridiculous stuff. That's precisely what Ancient Aliens is, right? You have a lot of real questions in that program. I only watched a few episodes of it many, many years ago. But they have some real stuff in there, but then they associate it with all the super kooky stuff. And so then anytime you say the real stuff, you're like, oh yeah, and like lizard people built the pyramids or whatever. So that's been very successful with this operation. I think that was anticipated. It doesn't seem like a large amount of people were intended to figure out what's going on here in the first place. And the third thing, so primary sources, does it seem unreasonable? And what was the last one? Maybe there were 2. But in any case, my point being is there's so much to look into. If a few things... Oh, and do you get ridiculed for holding this position? And this is a subconscious thing, and I'm not accusing Ian of having this one involved in his decision-making at all, or Rogan. Rogan more so because he's such a big public figure. But people have a natural tendency to avoid believing things that will get them socially ostracized if they believe it, because we like to state what we believe, but we hate to be socially ostracized. So this happens with a lot of things, is people just avoid investigating it. Some people... Ian actually said that he's avoided investigating a certain event during World War II because he feels if he investigates it and comes to find the truth is something that he's not really allowed to say, then he ends up in a conundrum. And I actually respect that approach. We need all sorts of different approaches. So, like I said, love Ian, big respect to Ian, love Rogan, respect him too. These guys, like so many other critics of Q who do this sort of, it's the example of like the ridiculous thing. Same with Flat Earth. If you need an example of something ridiculous to distance yourself from the kooks, people use this. And, it's somewhat unfortunate, but the other thing that they say is there's nothing to worry about. Trust the plan. it's all under control. Well, the reason that they communicated what was going on with us is because they do need us. And the Q followers understand that. And so that's why they're so vocal. We are not told to sit on our hands and just trust the plan and not criticize Trump. Some of the harshest criticisms you see of this administration have been coming from some Q accounts, people like Patel Patriot, I'm forgetting his real name, and they're criticizing things like the rate of deportations and the fumbling, or at least perceived fumbling, of the Epstein, revealing Epstein documents and stuff like this. So it's not that. And another criticism, another kind of theory of what this is people point to, there was a disinformation campaign during the Bolshevik Revolution, which was that they were called the White something, the White Army or something, and it was this idea, the Bolsheviks created a conspiracy theory that there were these kind of Christian, monarchist, old school warriors that were going to stop the Bolsheviks, and it was very much like everything's under control, don't worry. There's many reasons that we know that's not what this is. For example, that operation, I'll find out what it's called real quick. Name the Bolshevik operation to make people think there were people were coming to save them. The White somethings. Sentence. Answer. Operation Trust. Wait, something's a little bit literal. White Army's efforts during the Russian Civil War. Okay, so I might have crossed a couple of wires there, but Operation Trust is what it's called. Now, what Operation Trust did is lay out. It gave some valid criticisms in order to legitimize it, so people would read and say, "Hey, that's like me." Difference is, what you don't do when you're trying to do something like that is tell a lot of people horrible things that the people that would have been writing this, the Bolsheviks in that case, the globalist Zionist empire, Jewish mafia, etc. You don't tell them horrible things those people are doing that people didn't know about. Similar with Pizzagate. The idea that, so people at that time, now Pizzagate has been basically people who pay any attention to this stuff whatsoever understand that was real. At the time, people said, this is a disinformation campaign in order to make conservatives look crazy. Okay, first of all, to the liberal world, conservatives look crazy for believing in Jesus. They look crazy for believing in two genders. There's a lot of things. And it's bearing out that was true. And like, just to go briefly into Pizzagate, one of the big things that was like the gotcha of like, told you these people were crazy, was they said, the whole theory was that this pizza place, that there were people that were high up in and connected to the Democratic Party in Washington operating a child trafficking ring out of the basement. And then the big headline, the big gotcha that made a lot of people go, oh, well, I guess that's nonsense then, was that place doesn't even have a basement. Well, me and other people who actually investigate things for ourselves, what we did is someone found, and I found what they had shared, the actual, in the City Hall archive are the plans to that building. When you have a business or when a building is constructed, I'm not sure the exact way that this happens, the city has the blueprints of the building or the plans of the building, and it absolutely did have a basement. And there's a lot of other stuff I could get into. That's a whole nother episode. But it turned out it was not a plan to make conservatives look crazy. I wish it was, because it's extremely dark. There's a video that I've seen that a lot of people have seen involving Skippy. What's his name? The guy who was the guy in the Obama, visited Obama in the Oval Office more than anybody. And he's got a brother, and they have a really sick and disgusting art collection. John Podesta. So there's a video. It's still on YouTube, and it'll give you nightmares. It was one of the things that made me realize that Christianity might be true, because biblical evil exists in the world. So, by the way, please follow me on Rumble. I'm assuming that this channel is going to get deleted, and I'll be censored on YouTube at some point. It's Bone Broth Bro is my Rumble channel. rumble.com/user/bonebrothbro. I'm a little bit encouraged that I might be able to stay on YouTube, though, because the Hodge twins are still on YouTube, and they have not been shying away from some really serious stuff that you're normally not allowed to say. So, and the Overton window's getting blasted, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, they don't talk about this stuff, so we shall see. Anyway, similarly, the Q drops, and let me show you these. There's only a few places that are left online. Recently, I don't know if it's still true, but you couldn't message any link from the you couldn't DM anyone any links of this in Meta or X. Like, it would not let you. If this is just a stupid old conspiracy theory that's been debunked, like, why would that be? So these are the actual drops. User is right here, Q. If anything, if there's Q archives that also have like responses and other things, and people get confused, the only thing that we are saying is legitimate. The other ones could be anybody. And there were people, I was unfortunately not aware of this when it was going on, but who asked questions of Q, and Q responded. So it makes sense to have some of that here. But it's this user. And the only way to know about this is to read these. Now, I haven't even read all of them. There's 125 pages, and each page is like this. I've probably read about a quarter of them, and all the time people reference a specific one that would be relevant to something going on. So yeah, I guess it's the Q episode. But when I say I've never heard anybody who didn't understand that this was happening that knows more than me about it. What I mean is, one of the main things I mean is that they have been getting their information from secondary sources. They've looked up Twitter accounts that talk about it. They've assessed the validity and reasonableness of this random person who's talking about it. And so there are random people who are talking about Q, some of which I assume are disinformation operatives, or operatives who are there to make it look ridiculous. And you could assume that because these drops are accusing some very, very powerful people of things like treason. So they're not sitting on their hands about this stuff. And yeah. So couple things that you need to know when looking at these things that people talk about with it. And so one is deltas, and this is a perfect example of how like every group has their schizos, and there's something that happens where people, everybody's got an ego, and everybody likes to be the one to figure something out. And so everybody loves to jump to a conclusion and hoping that they're right, because if they're right, they'll get clout in the community, and they could be the first one to notice something, And what happens is, a lot of people aren't the brightest people in the world or have a little schizo tendencies. And so they try to claim something and it doesn't make any sense. And so there's like numerology involved in this, in that we believe, it's been demonstrated to us that Q will communicate with us in kind of what could, there's plausible deniability that it's a coincidence, but it's a coincidence of numbers. So one of those things is deltas. One of them is the number 17, which I'll get into. So the deltas are, does something happen? So delta means change, right? So did something happen? Is there a Q post the same day as something happened and it's obviously relevant? And a lot of times it's that the event is after. That's basically what we're talking about. So Q posts something on, 11/18/2022. This is when they came back briefly after being gone for years. And then if on 11/18/2024, so here it says Runbeck Dominion. And I know it is cryptic because of the nature of it. So it says Runbeck Dominion, SOS offices, investigators, researchers, whistleblowers, patriots in trusted positions, trust yourself. You have seen the truth. Time to show the world. Focus, ascension. So if there was a major event in the news, and I'm making this up, this is just an example, on 11/18/2024 involving Dominion, we would look at this and we would say, okay, so whatever was triggered to make the news about Dominion that day isn't certainly, but is likely to have to do with the people in the Q operation. I should get more detailed into what it is that we believe that this is. But briefly, I'll talk about the number 17. Q is the 17th letter, and we see the number 17 come up all the time. Now, when I say there's disinformation operatives, it goes extensively. So you'll also see things like, I don't know if this was fake, I'm pretty sure it was, but recently people were saying, oh my God, what's her name? The First Lady follows 17 people. Now, if that were true, that would be yet another, okay, some coincidences can happen, but when you have them over and over again, it starts to look like something else. But I looked up, people just take stuff for granted. They don't look it up, especially if it confirms their worldview. Although I think I looked at her personal account. So here's Melania Trump, and she follows 19. Now maybe she followed 17 before and she added a couple when people noticed. Oh, she's got 17 posts. Maybe that's what they're talking about. But you will see disinformation where people act like there's something that confirms it, and like they're anti. Well, we don't know what their intentions are, but okay. That's actually a good one though. So this in itself doesn't say anything. Can you see that? Yeah, 17 posts. But when they happen over and over and over again, so like Elon, 17. "17 politicians are saying the exact same thing." Well, it turned out to be more of them, so that's a pretty arbitrary number. So that's another one. And like, if you didn't know anything about this until right now, it could seem like I'm reaching, but what I'm telling you is like, it's not reaching after a while. Okay, so this is perfect. That's, never mind, that's just, they picked 17. So,
So thank you very much, everybody. This is very special. Charles Q, I like that. Q Brown Jr.
So he repeats the letter Q.
Your family's very proud of you. Your wife is very proud. Your sons are very proud, and I'm very proud. And I'm proud to have you in the Oval Office. This was going to be in a different location, and there's only one Oval Office. I said, this is the big leagues, so we have to have you and your family over to celebrate. This is an incredible occasion.
There's only one Oval Office now. When it was Biden, they had the second stage set Oval
Only one
Office, which
thing
is
I worry
weird.
about, Charles, was confirmed 98-0. That makes me a little bit concerned. Right? 98, I've never heard that before. You understand what that means? 98-0. So that's an achievement. But you have had an incredible
Just listen.
career, and this is a capper. And I just want to congratulate you. And it's an honor to have you in this very fabled office, and to have you in the White House. And thank you very much for being here. And congratulations to you and your family on a job well.
Who are the 17%? Who are the 17%? Who are they? Who the hell are the 17%? Anybody in here from the 17%?
Seeing-
Don't raise your hand. That may be dangerous.
Names number 17 over and over again.
17,
Here we go.
17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17.
So if you think you could change this to the number 13 or just some arbitrary other number and then come up with this many,
17,
you can't.
17,
He
17,
uses that number as
17,
an example number all
17,
the time.
17.
He's been to Washington 17
I
times.
think I might have been in Washington
Here we go.
17 times in my life. 17, 17, and 17, 17, 17, 17. 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, the 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17 minutes ago. I hung up the phone. I spoke to him 17 minutes ago. I hung up the
17
phone
minutes
and-
ago. Who says that?
17, 17, 17, 17.
Okay, so that doesn't mean that it's legit. It could mean that Trump wants people to think it is. That's the same one. 17.
The oath of office. It's been just 17 days since I took the oath of office.
So it's all the time. So that's a thing. I was talking about deltas. Let's see. Just get an example. Q drop, and this might not be any good because I don't know who this person is. They could be a retard, but let's see. Q drop 12.95 delta today. The only profit we should all be striving for is true freedom. Signed Q. So that's right there. So delta today means this was April 29th and this is April 29th. I'm not sure what point he was making, but that I'm just telling you how to understand this thing. 6-year delta coming up. October 30th has not been on a Monday since 2017. There will be massive riots by deep state assets. So this, I believe, is the first Q drop, and it presents false information. It says, well, as far as we know, it's possible that Hillary Clinton was arrested that day and it was kept a secret. You could be arrested by the military. They don't have to tell you, especially if there's an ongoing military operation. Hillary Clinton will be arrested between 7:45 and 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on Monday morning. That's October 28th. So they're on October, they say coming up. So they're just before October 28th. HRC extradition already in motion effective yesterday with several countries in case of a cross-border run. Passport approves to be flagged effective 10:30 at 12:01 a.m. Expect massive riots. So people point to this one as like they're saying things are happening and they're not happening. But they say that they included disinformation. And I believe one of these is from the Delta yesterday. 428. We're looking for 3-4, I think. So there's a lot going on. And I by no means can give a comprehensive, in-depth thing in one episode, especially without preparing first. But I'm just going to try to give you an overview. And I should get into what it is that we actually believe is going on. Yeah, my buddy sent me. I can grab it from our group chat. Here's another website where you can look at them, qalerts.app. So this is March 3rd. That's 2 days ago. So that, this is 2019, but the Delta was 2 days ago. And it says all this is quite long. So I don't know if I'll read the whole thing, but where's the part that is relevant to what I'm talking about? Oh, well, let's just start at the top. Why have there been no arrests? Right? So the first post they said it was Hillary was arrested, and then here it's asking why have there been no arrests? A lot of it is in the sort of Socratic form. And the reason is, I assume, that they want us to figure out stuff for ourselves. They don't want to just tell us what's going on. A, because that helps the people that this operation is going against. And B, because unlike what you would expect from a disinformation campaign that wants to tell you a specific agenda, that needs you to believe a specific narrative, what this does is it tries to get people to figure out stuff for themselves, and so they really understand. So why have there been no arrests? Why have specific dates been mentioned only to see no action? Define game theory. Okay, so game theory is... it's like in chess. It's like, okay, if we do this, what would we expect them to do in response? So then how can we think about our moves, anticipating their moves? And you can play this out, like there's certain ways in which people act predictably. A lot of people, they'll predictably act in their self-interest. Most people will. So you say, well, if I do this, what would be their best move in terms of them predictably acting in their self-interest? Okay, they'll do that. So then you can anticipate. Why must disinformation be provided? Define open source, define public purview. Do we let our enemies walk through the front door? Define plausible deniability. Why was it important to first clean house within the FBI and DOJ? Why was it important to first clean house within other ABC agencies? So right now we have Pam Bondi, we've got, what's her name, in charge of the intelligence umbrella, Tulsi Gabbard, we've got Kash Patel. These are the people they needed in place to do stuff. So I don't pretend to understand everything that's going on, but these are some of our explanations that are explain the kind of knee-jerk questions, the surface level questions that we get. So here's what we think is going on. This is an overview, and this is my perspective. Other people share this perspective and may differ on details, but this is the basic idea. The United States government has in place certain fail-safes to ensure continuity of government in the face of catastrophic or existential threats to the continuity of the government of the United States. So they put in place measures of what to do if X, Y, or Z happens, or if there are threats to the Constitution, if there is a coup, if, in the event of war, in the event of, a nuclear bomb, etc. And a lot of those were put in place after the Civil War. Because after the Civil War, that was a pretty catastrophic thing, obviously. And so they realized, what would have been helpful is a few measures in place of like what to do in such an emergency. So let's see this. Tell me about the measures put in place after the Civil War to assure continuity of government in the event of another catastrophe. So this is not a conspiracy theory. This is, real American government history. After the Civil War, the immediate focus of the government was on Reconstruction. However, the Civil War itself, let's see. So it says that continuity of government, COG, measures, as we understand them today. So what I'm talking about is the first kind of attempt at this. It says these are more associated with 20th century concerns like nuclear war or large-scale disasters. But it's going to tell you about what happened after the Civil War. Laid indirect groundwork for later continuity of government planning by exposing vulnerabilities in governance and succession, promoting constitutional and procedural adjustments over time. So we've got the 13th Amendment. Let's see. Okay, it says formal continuity of governments didn't emerge immediately. Instead, they did these things. I asked about something specific. They love to tell you, well, here's some other stuff. Formal ones emerged later. But this is what got them concerned about it. Presidential Succession Act of 1886. After Garfield's assassination, Chester Arthur had no VP, so they thought, well, what do we do if he dies? So they shifted succession from congressional leaders to cabinet members, starting with the Secretary of State, reflecting the belief that the executive branch officials were better to suit and maintain continuity during a crisis. All right, so this is getting into it. So then we have in the 1950s, the Truman Initiatives. President Truman ordered federal agencies to develop continuity plans, marked the formal start of modern continuity of government. This was built on post-Civil War recognition that government must persist through crisis. And though it was spurred by nuclear threats rather than civil conflict. Facilities and plans, underground bunkers. You've heard of DUMBs, deep underground military bases. Mount Weather, Green Briere. The National Continuity Project policy emerged later, but they reflect cumulative response to historical crises. So in other words, if there was a credible coup in our government, for example, a stolen election, and the military knew beyond a reasonable doubt that there was a stolen election, they could treat that as a coup, and they could proceed with things, and they wouldn't need to tell us. There would have to be some sort of timeline on it to work on that, to solve the crisis. Now, the other thing that happened is the assassination of JFK. Now, if there were people in the military and in intelligence who were aware that our president on our soil was assassinated by people from within our government, which is pretty much common knowledge at this point, and also most probably, intelligence assets from a foreign government, this would be viewed as a crisis also. And now what the Q is proposing really is that actually there are some good guys in our government, and they actually had a plan. And now JFK was assassinated quite a while ago, but the plan, if you're really going to take America from a situation where people who aren't elected can assassinate sitting presidents, then you're gonna have to get it right. And so then the idea is that they were looking for somebody that they could trust to run for president and get elected legitimately, who would be in on the plan, but who also would operate as a legitimate president with his own ideas and his own agendas. And that was Donald Trump. And because this was spurred on by the Kennedy assassination, we presume that Kennedy family members were involved. Some people think that, there's a lot of speculation on who Q is. He tells us it's not the best search because it's not flexible. But he says, like, you'll never believe who you're talking to when you find out. And some people think it's JFK Jr., who we believe is alive. Now, I can show you why we think he's alive. It's not because we just are gullible and love conspiracy theories. It's because RFK told us he's alive.
You know, this is extraordinary on so many levels. The Deitch memo, and this memo, all of the documents that are not in the public domain, and the Deitch memo is one of those documents. It was a discovery document.
Okay, so RFK Jr. is live. He's talking to this guy. He's live on Instagram, I think. Okay, you see him touch his nose there? Right here, rock and roll something space witch or something. It says touch your nose if JFK Jr. is alive.
Discovery document. Deliberate
touching of his nose. So he's told us this. I'm gonna let my buddies know in the Q group chat that I'm talking about this actually, because maybe they'll pop in. Let's see here. Bear with me for a moment. And they can help me too. All right. So we got RFK scratch his nose, and that's not the only one. There's more of them. Let's see what this.
One killed it.
I'm not sure what that one is, but he's done it at least 2 different times. Yeah, it was mostly that one that's coming up. But at least twice, I think 3 times, he's touched his nose or done some other signal. And also his body was never found. JFK Jr.'s body is never found. People call him Junior or John. And he was quoted as saying that that his life's mission was to avenge his father's death. And he was right there. So sometimes people get really critical of RFK Jr. because they say, he's basically working for or running cover for the people that killed his family. They're up to something. Here's the photo when he was a kid. Maybe it's the funeral. So there he is. By the way, you'll note that there he is. That's kind of zoomed in, but and you have just a lot of quinces, a lot of winks at us. Look how cute this kid is. So basically, he grew up. He founded a magazine called George, and then even though he had been flying planes since he was like a child, one of the perks of being a Kennedy, I guess, was flying a plane with his family while he was running for Congress against Hillary Clinton. And then in fine weather with no obvious reason for a problem, apparently his plane crashed and the bodies were never found. And Hillary Clinton became whatever she became, whatever her first position was, elected. Now, I don't know what really happened, but one thing that you could speculate is that she was going to attempt to have him killed, and he got a heads up about it, and he faked his death and hid himself and his family. I could keep going. JFK Jr., Vincent Fusca. A lot of people think that this is him in disguise. He always seems to be there. So here's Trump almost getting killed. This man right here, a little bit hyped right now, as anybody would be. A lot of people think this is Junior in disguise, basically with a prosthetic nose on. Junior was a very handsome guy. He didn't quite look like that. Here he is. He's the right age and everything. Their faces really match up. You can get real detailed into that. Here's Trump and his very good friend, JFK Jr. If my dear friend Donald Trump ever decided to sacrifice his fabulous billionaire lifestyle to become president, he would be an unstoppable force for ultimate justice that Democrats and Republicans alike would celebrate. John F. Kennedy Jr., George Magazine, 1999. Oh. Here. Can't see that. Just a moment. What's going on here? Still kind of learning this software. Here we go. If my dear friend Donald Trump ever decided to sacrifice his fabulous billionaire lifestyle to become president, he would become an unstoppable force for ultimate justice that Democrats and Republicans alike would celebrate. Republicans are celebrating it. More and more Democrats are getting, opening their mind to possibility here. So he said that in 99, did he know something we don't know? Here's his magazine. There's something on here that's supposed to relate to something. So there's Fusca during the assassination attempt. Let's see. And then he'll appear with a woman a lot of times. It does look plausible, doesn't it? And the woman looks like JFK Jr.'s wife. Let's see if that will bring it up. I forget his wife's name. So, people who haven't looked into all this stuff think they know what they're doing and dismissing it. It's always like, oh, ha, ha, ha. They go a little overboard, and then they think they're really smart when they're like, oh, it's the same as that Soviet misinformation campaign or whatever. So, yeah, this lady here. So let me bring up his wife. That's JFK's wife. That's RFK's wife. Here's JFK's wife. So look at her, like the shape of her face, the shape of her nose. And I'm not saying it's the same person, but these two people are always together. They're always right behind Trump. In 2016, the rallies, you'd see this guy everywhere. So yeah, that's the Junior thing. So back to what it is. The whole thing is, like I said, it's this crazy conspiracy that there are people in our government that aren't just going to let our country get sold out and trashed and destroyed by communists and Jewish supremacists and, globalists and Satanists. And that they had a plan. And, my buddy says he met Vincent Fusca in the Santa Monica Pier. And his Mexican family, who was amazed. I don't quite understand that second part, but right on, brother. Thanks for being here. All right, I got three friends in here. Awesome. Yeah, let me know anything that I'm missing, anything that you think is important to share. But all that is to say that this operation, we believe, is a military operation. It's able to operate on American soil and secretly when the exceptions to the Posse Comitatus Act are fulfilled. Posse Comitatus Act says the U.S. military can't operate on our soil, which goes back to not wanting British soldiers in our houses and stuff. But it can if we're being invaded, if there's a coup. Obviously, at that point, you need them. So the idea is... Who's calling me? Oh, it's those guys. You know, I'm going to have to not take it. All right. So, a stolen election, president being assassinated, these are things that could trigger that. And basically, we've got a president that can put people who know what's going on, or at least will be trustworthy patriots, in important positions. And they can destroy the machine that was created to subvert our democracy, to subvert our country, our republic. And so what happens is there's a lot of people from all walks of life who get interested, and a lot of them have pet projects. So some of them are really interested in Tesla and this interesting connection to Donald Trump, Donald Trump's family and Tesla. And there's something there. Trump's uncle was the guy who got Tesla's files. Then you have these weird Barron Trump books from a long time ago, and people put two and two together, and they say Tesla came up with time travel, and that's explanation for Barron Trump. So this is how you get those wilder theories. And, you know, the world's a strange place. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I don't have to have an opinion on that or not. The opinion that we have is that, as Q told us, there's a military operation to save the country. And they don't want us to sit on our hands and do nothing. They have told us real information that it's extremely damaging to the establishment. And, you know, it's worth looking into. So, you know, it does get into some other stuff of like, you know, some people are legal constitution nerds, and they talk about, you know, maybe that they're going to bring us back to a more legitimate form of government that we've, you know, between the Federal Reserve, we've lost our way. Well, we do seem to be talking about the Federal Reserve a lot. Derek Johnson's Midnight Rider Rides Again is a great outline of the military side of the military operation. It's a current bestseller on Amazon. Cool. I had a dream. Now, I don't expect anyone else to put any stock in my dreams, but I put stock. Sometimes I have dreams that are extraordinarily vivid. I have since I was a kid that have been meaningful. And I had one about the military operation. It was actually what happened after, which I won't get into right now. But what happened after was one of the most intense, vivid dreams I've ever had. And the first part of it was Mark Zuckerberg getting arrested by the military and being stuck in a helicopter. Like I said, I take it a grain of salt, and I was the one who dreamt it, but I don't take it to mean that is exactly what happened. But anyways, what am I doing? Derek Johnson's Midnight Rider Rides Again. Midnight Rider Rides Again is a Part 1 blueprint of how Donald Trump is Commander-in-Chief by military and federal laws and orders in chronological order, along with military regulations, customs, optics, and comms, typically overlooked by the majority. This piece is a historical document all Americans should add to their bookshelves for generations to come as we live through what is becoming the most monumental, historical, and biblical world operation to date. So this isn't about putting Trump on, worshiping Trump or anything. There have been other things that happened from worldly leaders that we look back on and we're like, God was acting in that. This is massive if they're doing good things. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. I wonder if there's any. Do we have any like interviews with him? So yeah, like I don't know. If I was more like optically careful, I just kind of stream in consciousness. I would have avoided some of the weird stuff for longer to like kind of. But I mean, some of the weird stuff is fun. It can be fun. Derek Johnson. Yeah, if you got any clips or anything that I should watch, I'd be into it. This all started, Carter, starting out with reacting to Ian Carroll being dismissive of Q on Joe Rogan's podcast and kind of using it as an example, as many people do, along with Flat Earth, as a ridiculous thing that people think. But there are many things that people think are ridiculous that actually aren't. And, sometimes things that you think are ridiculous are true. Let's see, I took a couple notes today. Tippy Top. I got to show you Tippy Top. So this is what convinced me that, and it should convince anybody, that Trump and Q, that Q at least has access to Trump. And I will also play a couple of the important clips of Trump and someone else talking. Interesting that the MSM is trying to amplify the message that Kamala is in tippy-top shape while Trump says the opposite. Okay, no, here this is what we need. All right, so this is Q post 991. How do I read this? The one where I saw it, it said, yeah, okay, I guess this is like when they're confirming it. So somebody asked if Trump could say, as proof that Trump was connected to Q, could you have him say tippy top? And they said, yep. And then what happened was this. Note the white rabbit, and in the Q post it says follow the white rabbit. So we have Trump right after this request to have him say tippy top, which is, we can agree, not something that he's ever that he says, or anyone says really. You have him standing next to a white rabbit. It's on Easter.
Incredible house or building or whatever you want to call it, because there really is no name for it. It is special, and we keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape, and it's a great, great place. Everybody to...
All right, so, case closed, and there's a number of them. You can search for Q proofs, and that's one of them. Just for fun, we can look at the time travel theory. Like I said, it's like, to make an analogy to religion, and this is not a religion, the Q drops are the only thing that's like the sola scriptura, and everything else, or this is the catechism. The other stuff you could believe or not believe, it's recreational. But it's weird. Let's see. I'll find it here. Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Adventure. Barron Trump. Well, that's the name of Trump's son, obviously his youngest. Barron Trump Collection. Travels and Adventures of Little Barron Trump and his wonderful dog Bulger. Barron Trump's wonderful or magical underground adventure. Marvelous Underground Journey. Right, so these are books. They're written by a guy named Lockwood Ingersoll. And here's the cover. Now, look at that face. Okay. Now look at young Barron Trump. Now, does this not look like all right? I mean, is this even a stretch? Like, that's not a super clear picture, but it's his name. Now there could be other explanations, but it seems like Ingersoll. When was it? It was on. Let's just check on when this was published. 1890. Okay. So you can see why people would think that maybe that's one explanation. I talked about it on my account here. Should be able to find it from there. This is a fun rabbit hole if you don't know about that. I feel like this search used to work better because it should come right up. But anyway, there's a couple other potential explanations. I'm not saying there's time travel involved, but I don't know what the explanation for that is. So yeah. What else was I going to talk about? We can move on maybe. I'll get back into Q at some point for sure. I got some comedy. Let's take a little break from that. We'll do some comedy stuff. And we can come back to it. I have some brain fog going on because of my fasting probably. We saw that one. How far did we get? Destiny watched one of my videos and it broke his mind. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is, but I'm interested.
Be having a hard time. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but
objective scientific fact.
But here it is.
He's so
Destiny
gross.
really is bothered by my approach to this stuff.
Neil's position was the only reason we even care about this Men or Women's thing is because of
God, I hate listening to this guy.
who's playing on what sports teams. And then Warren's like, well, the concern here is whether or not somebody's rights are criminal. Yes, correct. That's literally what Neil just said.
No, Neil was saying that we only care because we separate sports, and he's going to make the argument that we shouldn't separate sports by gender. It should be through hormone levels. He's laying out his position here.
This only.
All right, I can't deal with both Destiny and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Two of the biggest charlatans of all time. And not a comedy break. So please bear with me. Oh, Putin jokes.
Меня зовут Ван Цзэвэй, и я приехала из Пекина, и только что мой коллега уже сказал, что он не верит, что все это уже случилось, но я более не верю, потому что у меня специальности перевод, и когда я...
If you're just listening, it's in subtitles, and I don't know that I can read all of them, so
была
sorry.
в университете, у нас было очень много упражнений, а ваше выступление, и мы много делали, но а вы сейчас прямо здесь, но я просто не верю, это как бы во сне. Но да, и у меня...
Я вас ущипну потом.
That was it.
Действительно так
He's
сложилось.
not known to be funny particularly, although he's probably funnier than we know him to be. She said, I can't believe this, I feel like I'm dreaming, and he said, oh, pinch her.
У меня в Италии и с ним всегда были дружеские
We'll try one
отношения.
more.
И с Берлускони, с которым они постоянно конфликтуют на политической сцене. Берлускони судят сейчас за то, что он живет с женщинами. Если бы он был бы гомосексуалистом, ему пальцем бы никто не тронул.
He said somebody's in trouble for their interaction with women, and if they were gay, they wouldn't have that problem. All right. It's probably funnier in Russian, you know. Maybe the bottom ones of these were just interesting clips. Okay, Ali G interviews Noam Chomsky. So these are two... Chomsky's Jewish, isn't he? He's like not been relevant in a while, so I kind of forget. Yeah, that's what I thought. So two high-level Jews, and one of them's pranking the other one. And what's going to be interesting about this is, let's say we have a Mossad agent, I'm assuming, and Sacha Baron Cohen, and we have a critical of Israel, leftist Jewish intellectual. So it's I think we might be able to learn something here by what a Mossad agent would want to do in their interaction here.
Booyakasha! Check this out with none other than my main man, Professor Norman Chomsky. And him is going to explain about language. Why is studying language important?
Language is the core property that basically defines human beings.
So when animals chat to each other, does them talk in language?
The core property of what defines human beings is language. It's not a soul being made in the image of God.
It's more or less a matter of definition. I mean, every organism has some means of communication, including insects.
How many words does you know?
Well, normally humans, by maturity, have tens of thousands of words.
For real?
Yeah.
What is some of them?
Well, the ones we're using.
For real. Me know loads of words. Parachute, photograph.
No, if you count them up, it'll be in the.
Spaghetti,
It'll be in the tens of thousands.
Camera.
Yeah.
My 4-year-old cousin Sanjeev, he's got a Bangladeshi mum, but his dad come from Staines, represent West Side. Does you think he'll grow up speaking both languages?
It varies among people. So if a person speaks two languages, you call them bilingual. Many languages, you call it multilingual.
So what you were saying to me, cousin may grow up bilingual?
In normal circumstances, he will.
But Professor, ain't it wrong to say just because he might be able to speak two languages that he will be into ladies and also into boys?
I don't understand. There's no connection.
Well, you were saying he's going to be bi.
There's no connection at all. I mean, whether he ends up liking boys or girls or chemistry.
He's going to grow up to be bi, and I don't think that's fair. You saying that.
Bilingual means having two languages. It has nothing to do with bi in the sense that you're thinking of. Bilingual means having two languages. It has nothing to do with being bisexual.
But how would you like it if I called you bilingual?
I'd love it if I were bilingual. I'd love it if I were multilingual. If I had many different languages, I'd be a richer person.
What's multilingual? Is that if
having many languages? No. Multilingual means multa means many.
Because my nan's boyfriend Derek, him always tell me nan that he is cunnilingual. How many languages does that mean him speak?
Again, let me say, each of us speaks many different languages.
Why don't you create a new language where instead of like the word bread, you add something like mephilop or mefla or or lafina
You can
Or
do
for
it
a
if
table, call it like plella. Or no, plella would be better for dog. But
you can do it if you like, and nobody will pay the slightest attention to you because it would just be a waste of time.
but you could earn a lot of money.
No, you wouldn't, because nobody would pay the slightest attention since it's a waste of time.
What a cheery.
Yo, so check it out. You heard the words of my main man. Now listen up, be woke.
Yeah, I need, as I grow, I'll have people send me stuff that'll be good. Because I'm trying to react to stuff I haven't seen, or I've seen that about years ago. But anyway, I don't know. No Sarah, just Theo Von moments. Should be good.
And the baptism, dude, I freaking still remember, dude. I remember taking a couple extra sips when I was under that water, bro.
You
know
were
what I'm saying?
guzzling.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'm staying down there. I appreciate it, and thanks, brother. We're not racist, or I'm not trying to be. You know, I have some flare-ups in traffic, but overall, I'm good. You know, I'm doing my best, man. I'm out here on the front lines of not trying to be, brother. Really?
I tried to commit suicide. I
Oh.
tried to OD on a bottle of Theragram M. You know those
What is
vitamins?
that? Those vitamins?
Yeah, I tried to OD on vitamins. When I
And
was
what'd you
8.
get? Just better?
I just fell asleep. Damn. What did you get? Better?
I'm just thinking like vitamins. It seemed like
I didn't have. They didn't have OxyContin.
Would you rather be blind or dickless, dude? These days, probably dickless. I think I had a blind kid in my neighborhood when I was growing up, and actually, no, this dude was deaf actually, and they beat him up for doing bad magic, because he was always doing all of this and shit, and people thought he was doing magic with no tricks, and they fucking beat him. So I came on a girl once and just fucking, and then lied about it, made her, then I got so scared I fucking left.
Can't all be winners, but, and about that I mean like my stream right now. Jeffrey Epstein speaking. What was I doing? I like this guy, Tyler Fisher.
How you guys feeling tonight? Friday night, Orlando, Florida. I hope you're feeling better than me. I was on my way in an Uber and a guy yells out, Zelensky! I go, oh, fuck, I am. Oh, fuck! He goes, go back to Ukraine. This is the wrong day to wear this outfit. However this goes, it's going to go better than it went for him today. So I think I'm already doing better. Just talk like him. We need more weapons. I don't know. That's German. I don't know. What is a Ukraine? No one can do a Ukrainian accent. No, more. We need Ukrainian. What's the accent? Is this it? Like a gayer German a little bit? Oh, stay away, Russia. Stop it. Send me a couple more billion and we'll stop. Oh, just a couple more billion. Zelensky's like the highest end stripper in the world. Just another, I'll cut it out. Just another. What, did you have the accent? Of course I do. Look at her. She's storming the stage. Look at her. Somebody shut her up. Shut her up. Tell her to go home. She's got to go home. She's got to go home. She didn't even say thank you. Think of that. She didn't even say thank you. Tyler, thank you for coming. What's that? I kind of...
Yes.
Da means yes?
Yes.
What is no?
Yes. Yes.
Nyap, nyap. No wonder you guys got invaded. That's some weird language. Da, 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 nyap, nyap, nyap. Just
Pretty sure it's the same.
get back up. What the fuck are they saying? Back up. Nyap, nyap, nyap. Da, da. I wish Zelensky said that to Trump today. Yeah. Shut. What is he saying, JD? He's being very disrespectful. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Shut him up. What is that? Da, da, da. What is that? Da, da,
His
da,
accent's
da.
on point.
What is that? Put him in the Lincoln bedroom. Put him in timeout. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shorter stream. Let's do some more Tyler Fisher, and then I'll wrap it up here, I think. If, did any of my homies tell me to... Yeah, I just wanted to see if they had any other Q stuff. Let's do this. What is best? Oh, I remember this, man. He was killing it. And
Hi, this is a little message.
like during COVID and stuff, he was like one of the only people with the balls to really make fun of this
The
stuff.
unvaccinated. Ugh. You are killing every 2 hours. Hi, this is a little message to the unvaccinated. Ugh. You are killing everyone. It's your fault. You're being selfish, so get the vaccine because I'm vaccinated. I am vaccinated, okay? And so I'm protected because the vaccine is safe and effective. So if you're around me and you're unvaccinated, then you're putting me at well, you're not. No, okay. So you're selfish because if I'm protected and you're around me, then I'm fine. But you're me. Sorry. If you're not vaccinated, then you're not. It's your. You're racist, is what I'm saying.
See, it's crazy how dated things sound because it's like we all made fun of stuff to death.
Biden's not doing good. You ever watch him talk? He starts out yelling, and then he whispers like the most important part of the speech.
Read what I said.
$9 trillion relief so far. Total opposite of Trump. Trump starts out calm and then builds to a violent screaming by the end of his speech. Right?
So, excuse me, think of it. We have to save this great country, right? No, I made this country so great. I made it so great, and then now it's not so great. Not so great. Because of the radical left, and you know these people, right? Radical, we call them radical. We say radical. These people, these radical left. They're rapists. They're murderers. They're fucking our kids, chopping their dicks off, putting Bud Lights up their ass at the border. That's what they're doing. Think of it now. Think of it. So sad. Think of it.
Does that little toddler sway? Biden's not doing.
I just got my United States citizenship 3 days ago.
You cannot have a gun in New York City, right? You cannot have a gun, but you can have your penis out, open carry on the subway. No problem. Everyone's, oh, it's okay. Very different from my country. You have a different genders here. We only have 2. You have several thousand. A little confusing. I had a first date last night. This woman said, I am fluid. I said, you're wet? I don't know. I identify as hard, so let's... All right, I'm from Connecticut. I don't know. I just... I want some of that foreign privilege, you know what I mean? Can't just be a straight white guy with resting January 6th face anymore, you know?
He just got my...
Good times. He does zero.
White, male. Why don't you tell me about your privileged life?
I was raised in foster care. Both of my parents were murdered. And then when I was 15, my foster parents, they both OD'd, accused of and convicted of a rape, which I did not commit. I spent 12 years in jail, found out that I have pancreatic cancer, and I have 3 weeks to live. Oh, and I have COVID.
Of course, they let you out of jail because you're white. 2 weeks to live. Imagine if you were an indigenous person who suffered with arthritis because they were in a disenfranchised POC neighborhood. Well, I'd say you probably only had bloody 2 days to live, so why don't you check your damn privilege? Bobby, why don't you tell us what real oppression sounds like.
Well, I just became CFO of my own company, woman-owned company, of course. Just bought a new Porsche, bought another house in South Beach and another one in Miami.
Okay.
But I was misgendered at a holiday party.
Probably she didn't take her own damn life. White, male.
Let's see if you got some. Something new.
Hi guys, happy Black History Month, and as a cis white privileged male, I just want to say to all my white people, Karens, male Karens, Kevins I call them, maybe just like sit down today and shut up. Well, for the next month, it's a whole month. Sit down, shut up, and just like do the work. I, every Black History Month, like to even go back and look at some recent history. So I started my day off. I watched O.J. Simpson's trials, and then and I just listened. You know what I mean? It's my time to listen. And then I watched Bill Cosby's rape accusation trials as well. And I just sat there and I fucking listened and I did the work. And I shut my white mouth while 60 women accused him of rape. And let's see what else. Oh, Puff Daddy, I read through his charges today as well. Just another black figure I grew up loving and watching. Just hear him really poetry about putting bitches in their place and shooting N-words in the face and shiz. And then, oh, of course, I'm going to go back and watch some of Kamala Harris's famous speeches about time and the passage of time and coconut trees, because Kamala Harris, as a proud black woman, is now, of course, history. So, whiteys, sit down, shut up, do the work, and maybe take a knee. That's what I'm going to do right now, is just take a knee.
Oh, I'm so glad that this
Say you're sorry.
saga of America is over.
Hi, guys. Happy.
The comedy was fun, but not worth it, though. All right, let's see what he has to say about Kash Patel, and then I'm going to get out of here.
This is Amazon's new money-making app. Let me show you how it works. That
I don't know who else. He keeps cabinets growing. I don't know who else. He keeps bringing new people in. Oh, who is that? Kash Patel got added in. He should just do what the Democrats do and just play the identity stuff. How funny would that be? How funny would that be? He comes in day one. He's got the head wrap on. Goes, no, it's very good to be here. I'm going to, no, we're going to fix, no, excuse me, very bad. We're going to fix the FBI. We are going to fix it. They've been very bad. As the first Indian trans person, non-binary, colorful person, it's very good. Kamala couldn't do this. She was black and Indian. I'm black, trans, Indian, and a open pedophile. Very bad FBI, very bad. We have some organic tikka masala made by RFK Jr. This is really good tikka masala. It doesn't make you gay anymore. The tikka masala, 100%. Thank you, Dodo. The circus, enjoy it.
Ah, good stuff. Shout out Tyler Fisher. He was one of the only people making me laugh in 2020. All right, well, thank you guys for joining. Carter, shout out to you, man. I'm going to check out that book. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be doing this every day. So it's a lot of fun. And yeah, every day, give or take, but so far every day till the end of April. And then I start my very busy work schedule back up. I'll keep doing it once a week. Yeah, much love, everybody. See you tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time here on YouTube, and check out clips on my Rumble channel. Bone Broth Bro is the name of the channel. Peace.